able to separate between what I call the lies in my head and the truth that I found within myself made all the difference. It was just knowing that, wait, these thoughts that are constantly like streaming through my head all the time, like they aren't true, and I don't have to believe in them.
Yeah, I think I know Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." You guys have all heard that. If we could rephrase it just a tiny bit, I'd love to say it's, "I perceive what I think, therefore I am." So if you can perceive you're sad, you're actually something other than sad. You're the observer of it. And that's an interesting proposition, because when we realize we're the observer of our thoughts, you suddenly have a driver behind the wheel. If I could use a car as a metaphor, let's pretend our body is a car. Your brain isn't the driver, it's a steering wheel. It's an amazing tool, but it's a tool and it isn't the driver. But it can go on autopilot. If you're not awake and you're not behind the wheel, or you don't know how to be behind the wheel of your own life, or behind the wheel of your own brain, your brain will go on autopilot. It's a binary computer, and it'll do what it was programmed to do, which is whatever it was raised around, which often isn't that great. So how you become behind the wheel, the driver of your life, is to start realizing you are not your thoughts and you are not your feelings. Not every thought and feeling is a fact. You actually get to choose them. You get to choose which to participate in. And when I first started this, it was almost like being a little bit crazy, or it's like there were all these voices in my head I became aware of, and I had to go, I don't believe in you. I'm not gonna act on you. I'm gonna ignore that one. We curate our diets, we curate our clothing, we curate so many things, but we do not think about curating our thoughts, that we have the ability to choose which thoughts to participate in, and we can even have different thoughts. We can choose to invest in different thoughts. And something that I really love about Cheryl is she really, really took that to heart, and she spent a lot of time doing the work of sitting still so she could learn that subtle difference between a thought in her head versus the truth that was in her heart. For people that wonder what is it like to change, change is hard. I hear people give peace a chance. Giving change a chance is hard. Change, it takes a lot of work. And something I really saw Cheryl makes Cheryl, happiness is for everyone. It doesn't mean everybody chooses to do the work. Just like working out, not everybody chooses to do the work of working out. What can you say about that bump, that hurdle of sitting still? I have a lot of people tell me they can't practice mindfulness because they're too high strung. They can't practice meditation because they fail at it, because they get distracted by thoughts. They think that's losing. What can you tell people about what it is to learn to sit quiet, and what it felt like the first time and what it feels like now?
I'd say at first it was very difficult because, I think people talk about, oh, I keep getting lost in thought, and at first, I thought I had to try to force my thoughts away, I had to, not think, just don't think. But it's really, the opposite. You're supposed to think, but you're supposed to be aware of what you're thinking. So I'd say when I first started, it was weird being aware of everything that was happening to me, being aware of all this sadness that would rise, or all these random thoughts that would come where I felt crazy, but I think just simply being aware of them, created what you talked about earlier. It's created that space so that I wasn't attached to them anymore. They were just a thought, and that's all they were. And they had no power over my life or my happiness or my relationships. I had complete control over my life for the first time. And I'd say now, through practicing it every day, even when I maybe didn't want to, or when it was really difficult or really uncomfortable, but pushing through that and knowing that it was going to get me to a happier place, now it's heavenly. I enjoy doing it. I love it because I know what it's done for me. And even when it's not the most enjoyable to sit still, it's still enjoyable for me because I know where it's brought me and who I am because of it.
Yeah. Do you